Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today, I wanted to talk to you about why changing career path might actually be a good thing. Now, changing jobs at the best of times is difficult, let alone in a COVID world. It's scary enough moving from one company to another, but when you're trying to change your complete style of work, whether it's from engineering to finance to corporate to marketing, whatever you're changing, a whole new skill set with a new job can be difficult. But I'm talking from experience. As someone who studied engineering for 4 years, worked in industry for a year, and then decided to change completely to finance, I'm talking from experience when I say it's not easy. But it can be one of the best things that you do, because getting enjoyment out of the thing that you do for work is one of the most crucial things to ensure the longevity of your career. And the first key thing that I want to highlight is that changing career is not embarrassing. It doesn't matter how old you are or what stage of your career you're at. Changing career is perfectly acceptable. As the great Baz Luhrmann once said, the most interesting people I know didn't know at 22 what they wanted to do with their lives. Some of the most interesting 40-year-olds that I know still don't. So there's no embarrassment in changing your career path at any stage. Just knowing that you're moving towards a better goal is the important thing. So why might you want to change career? Well, there are multiple things that can impact your decision to change career completely or even to move from one company to another. The first and most important step is just to evaluate why it is you actually want to change career. Is it to do with the work you're doing specifically at the company you're currently working at? Or is it to do with your attitude towards the rest of the market as a whole? Or do you simply just want to change to discover new skills and try something completely different that you haven't done before? So there's plenty of valid reasons to want to change your career. You're not enjoying the work you do. You don't enjoy the team you're working in or the people you're working with. You're not valued in the workplace, or you're underpaid from an objective standpoint. These are all really good reasons for thinking about changing your career, and there are also plenty of other reasons that you can reflect on that are completely valid. But there are some reasons which aren't quite so valid. So for example, your parents disapproving of what you do probably isn't the best time to think about changing your career. Or if you've had an argument with your boss at work, probably throwing all of your toys out the pram and leaving straight away isn't the best idea, but if you're feeling oppressed by the people in management over a long period of time, that can have quite a significant impact on whether you should change career. And obviously, if you're fed up of the food they're serving at the canteen, it's probably not the right time to change career, but it might be time to start making your meals at home. So you think you might want to change career. Where do you go from here? Well, the first step is to think about the things you actually enjoy. Now, I'm taking work completely to the side, and obviously this is more difficult in a COVID-ridden world where most of the things that we enjoy have been closed down. So one of the most important questions you can ask yourself is, what would you do if money just wasn't an issue? If you could do anything at all? Now, of course, some things aren't going to lead to a career. For example, if you're 23 like myself, pursuing a career in professional sports might not be feasible. It could be possible if you're in good physical condition or if you've got the drive to do it, but a lot of famous sportsmen and women have to dedicate their lives to it from a young age. But one thing that this does highlight is the style of thing that you actually get enjoyment from. So sure, you may not become a world famous tennis player, but you might be able to draw the things that you enjoy from it and incorporate those into your job. So whether it's the competitive atmosphere, whether it's training towards a long-term goal, whether it's being outdoors or whether it's a physical demanding exercise that you enjoy, try to isolate the thing that you enjoy the most from that sport or from your ideal thing that you would do if money wasn't an issue, and try and pull out the things that make that interesting for you and that make it enjoyable, and try and apply those to the career that you choose. Now, I'm such a strong advocate for this because I personally believe that the only way to ensure that you can work at something for a long time and remain passionate and not burn out is to enjoy the thing you're doing in the first place. If you don't enjoy it, you're not going to be willing to put in the hard work that it takes in order to get to a successful position. Now, the next thing you need to do is set boundaries. Now, this is something a lot of people forget when they're pursuing a career. They just think it's fine, I'll work 60, 70, 80-hour work weeks, I'll just keep grinding away at my job, and the harder I work, the better I'll do. But setting boundaries between your work and your personal life is one of the most important ways that you can keep a good mental attitude that will encourage you to work harder in the long term and prevent you from burning out. So think about the boundaries and what it is that you definitely can't compromise on if you're going for a new job. So would it be your work-life balance? Would it be how far you're willing to commute? Would it be what area of the country or what country you live in? Think of these different boundaries and make sure you define them clearly for yourself, as it helps narrow down the search of the jobs you can actually apply to. On the other hand, you can also think of the sacrifices you're willing to make when you're looking for these jobs. So one thing you can do is think, am I willing to sacrifice a 20-minute longer commute to and from work compared to the current job that I have? If I enjoy the job 10%, 20%, 50% more, at what point does the trade-off become valuable? Set these characteristics and objectives and boundaries out, and they'll really help refine your search for a new career. So the next thing you need to do is get researching. And I don't just mean job applications. So I'm not just saying go onto a job application website, find jobs which sound great and just apply to them. What you need to do is research what the job is actually like. And this is much more difficult to do, and it's something that I've fallen into a trap to as well when I've applied to jobs in the past. What I do is I look at the job application, I read through the requirements of me and what the job will entail, and I think to myself, great, this will be a perfect fit. But the issue is, and this is 100% true, job applications lie. Companies lie. They wouldn't put on the job application the hours of admin that you have to put in, or the number of times that you have to go over and over through the same process. Or if you're in a large corporate company, the fact that the worst and slowest holdup is normally the IT system, which takes 2 or 3 days to get you logged into a different function. And as soon as you need to use it, it stops working. These are the key things that you need to know about the company, or you need to try and gain insight before you apply to work there. So one good way that you can do this is to look on LinkedIn and see if you have any common connections through friends for somebody who works at the company you want to apply to. If you identify any of these common links, that's fantastic. Reach out to your friend and ask if they can put you in touch. Not only does this earn you a potential friend at the company that you might be joining, but it means that you can really quickly get that insider information. So that's one of the most crucial things you can do, is leverage your network. Secondly, if you don't have any common friends with somebody, just search for people in the company that do a similar role to what you want to apply to, and just add them, drop them a message. You'll find that if you don't use a cold call approach, if you say, I'm looking to apply to the same role as you currently do, or I'm looking to apply to a similar role at your company, and I'd love to get some insight into what the job's actually like, people are pretty receptive. I know if I got a message like that in my inbox, I'd be happy to reply and fill someone in on the details of the job. And then the final thing that you need to research are the company values and whether they actually believe in them and follow them. Because if the company values don't match your own, you're never going to feel like you fit in. You're always going to feel like an imposter. Great, so you've done your research, you've got your short list of jobs. Now what the hell do you do next? Well, here's where I would recommend something a little bit out of the box. Most people, when you're applying for a job, you get told, tailor your CV for the job. Make yourself the most employable person for that specific job. But actually, I'd recommend something a little bit different. I'd say tailor the CV for yourself. So the narrative or the story that you want to tell the employer about yourself, why you want the job, what your skills actually are and your experiences, put them out plain and simple and make sure that the narrative follows what you believe. Now this links into my key skills that I talked about in this video, where I give interview and assessment tips for the Big Four, but these skills and tips apply to almost every other job application that you can do. But I would say that that is one of the key things you can do, is make your application a true representation of yourself and what you want the employer to see. Because if the employer looks at that and they go, I don't think there'll be a fit at this company, you've probably dodged a bullet, because you would have got the job, or you may have got the job and found that you don't fit in. Whereas if they look at the CV that you've submitted and they go, this person sounds a great fit for the company and they've got the right skill set, then you know that the story that you're bringing to the employer is the one they're looking for. So you're much more likely to be a good match for the company. Now the next thing I say you should do is keep an open mind and keep your searching open. So even if you are sending out applications to this shortlist, there's plenty of jobs being listed and taken off the market constantly. Now, in COVID times, it's a little bit different. There are fewer jobs than there were before and there's more competition, but that doesn't mean the jobs aren't there. So if you keep searching whilst you're applying and adding new jobs that fit your criteria, that expands your chances of finding the job that you enjoy. And the final thing is to keep an open mind. And this is the hardest thing to do. When you change career completely, when you change from one skill set to a completely different one, you will have a natural fight or flight response. It's what I had when I started my career in finance, having been in engineering. The first month, I questioned whether it was for me and what the hell I was doing. I couldn't find my feet and I just wanted to fly away. I didn't want to fight the difficulty of the situation. I could retreat back to the comfort of engineering and know that I could probably get a job and know what I was doing. But this is the important thing to learn. Fighting that initial response is what is going to help you in the long run, because in the long term, beating that initial flight response is going to get you into a job that you might enjoy more than before. One good way that you can keep yourself on top of this flight response is to remind yourself of the little victories and celebrate them. So you got the job, that's your first step. You completed your first task at the job, that's your second step. You're starting to feel more at home in the company, that's your third step. Each time that you get these little bits of progress, celebrate them and make note of them. And then of course, remember you might not get this right first time. If you apply to a job that you think is going to be perfect, the application went great, the company really seemed to like you, you get the job, you start, and 2 months in you're sitting there thinking, this isn't at all what I thought it was. There's no harm in changing. People have this outdated view and this presumption that once you're in a role, you have to stay. But that's not true. If you find a better opportunity elsewhere, you can change. And in fact, changing career or changing jobs regularly is statistically proven to earn you more money in the long term. So if that's one of your goals, then that's another goal met anyway. But my overarching message for anyone stuck in the position where they're thinking, I hate my job, I want to leave, I can't do this anymore, is to reach out to people. Reach out to people at work or outside of work and just discuss with them how you're feeling and how you might be able to address it. Because you may find that the problem isn't work itself, but is some of the aspects of work that can be changed. And of course, don't be afraid to change career. If you're stuck in a rut and you don't enjoy what you're doing, don't be afraid to start over, learn a new skill, expand your skill set. Every new thing you try builds on your skills and makes you more employable or makes you better at running your own side projects. So just try it. And as always, don't forget, smash the like button, subscribe if you are new around here, leave a comment down below on whether you've changed career path before and how that affected you. And as always, I'll see you in the next video.